When does the new series start? Well, now. Luke Cowan-Dickey goes up for the ball, and what a turning point it was as well. Whistle Watch is back, and it's great to have you back as well. Now, we've been to Dublin, Edinburgh and Paris, but now the main event here in Pontevedra. Some big talking points to talk about, including that big decision in Murrayfield, the penalty try. Let's get straight into it. The highlight of the week. I love hearing from you, the Emirates fans' questions. Excitingly enough, before heading into the Italian camp, Sebastian Negri and Monty Ioani sent me this clip. Let's see what they have to say.
Hi Nigel, I'd like to ask you a question. Just wondering what you get up to at half time.
Usually discuss what the players have been doing for the first 40 minutes and what I've missed. No, quite relaxed half time really. Go in, always have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Talk with the trust judges how the first half went, anything we need to work on. I don't get the coach shouting at me what I need to do better.
My question to you is, do you take pre-workout before a test match?
Pre-workout? I'm a referee, man. Yes, my pre-workout was I always had a bath. Before every game, I always had a soak in the bath. That was my pre-workout. Now then, let's get to some of the questions that's come in from you guys. Came across a YouTube clip of you, Nigel, giving a solo rendition of the beautiful Welsh song Myfanwy, and a reasonable fist you made of it. Perhaps you could introduce singing slot into future editions of Whistle Watch. No, I'll stick to answering your questions. I'm not going to even try singing here. The cows may give a few moves, but I won't be. Does the goat feel... What goat? Oh, I see what you mean now, well done. Feels like the 50-22 kicking rule has opened up the game. The reason they brought in the 50-22 was they think that the full back and winger, for example, would have to drop back to cover a kick through, which meant then it would free up some space in the midfield, which then would mean that the team with the ball would look to attack rather than kick. But what you still have is when you have a ruck, what usually happens is you'll have 3 or 4, maybe 5 attacking players in the ruck, and then you'll just have one defender in there. So you still have the numbers, there's no space there. So that really hasn't made a difference, I don't think. So at the moment, a little bit of a question mark. Hasn't made much difference either way, to be honest. There's nothing quite like it, is there? The opening round of the Six Nations, and it was lovely to see the fans back in the stadium, which really adds to the occasion. And there was some All Black royalty in Dublin as well. Yes, Sonny Bill Williams was there, and he was enjoying the sound of the Irish fans. Can you imagine sitting in the stadium and seeing Sonny Bill Williams next door to you? Anyway, I was up in Edinburgh, and with the result in Dublin, I'm glad I was in Edinburgh as well. There was a key point in the game which everybody's been talking about, and what a turning point it was as well. Luke Cowan-Dickey goes up for the ball. Now, if he would have made a genuine attempt to try and catch that ball and would just lost it forward, knocked it on, it would have been a scrum down Scottish put-in, unless Scotland would have taken advantage, of course. But what happens, Cowan-Dickey jumps up, his 2 hands are facing forward, and he quite clearly then smashes the ball or slaps the ball forward. So there are 2 offences there really. One, he deliberately knocked it forward, and also what you can't do is deliberately throw the ball into touch. The actions of Cowan-Dickey there itself are a penalty and a yellow card, whether a try would have been scored or not. So what they need to decide now is, do they think a try would have probably been scored? That's what they need to decide on if they're going to give a penalty try. And just remember, it's not possibly, it's not definitely. It's does the referee think probably. That is the key word. Now, a lot of people have been saying that Cowan-Dickey could have still tackled Darcy Graham. But no, he can't, because once he has committed that act of foul play, deliberately knocking the ball on, he is now no longer part of the equation in the official deciding would there have been cover. So he's out of the equation. So in this instance, they decide that Darcy would have probably caught the ball, and because the English cover coming across would probably have not got there in time, they deem it to be a penalty try, and that's why it ended up as a penalty try and a yellow card. Now also remember, when you give a penalty try, the player that has committed the offence has to be yellow carded. That's in the laws of the game. So for me here, the decision is correct. Penalty try and yellow card. Key turning point in the game. Over in Dublin, Josh Adams chips through, he fails to get the ball, and it looks like to me in a bit of frustration, he then charges into Sexton, leading with a shoulder into him off the ball. So what the referee needs now to decide is, what kind of contact was it? Leading with the shoulder, was it contact to the head? Now in my view, this was a really good decision by Jakob Piper. It certainly was a yellow card, and it wasn't a red card because Josh Adams' shoulder did not make contact with Sexton's head. If Josh Adams would have been an inch higher, then you'd have been looking at the red card. But in this instance, a yellow card was a correct decision. Now, a lot of you are wondering why the try for Julian Marchand in France-Italy was not given. So what happens here is Julian Marchand picks the ball up when he's still bound in the ruck. Now, if he'd have detached from that ruck and still on his feet and then pick the ball up, which means in that moment the ruck is over, so you're entitled to use your hands to pick the ball up in the ruck, then the try would have been given. But he was still bound in there, which means the try was correctly chalked off. Right then, it's time for some fun. Wordle, yeah, the game everybody's been playing and everybody's been talking about. Well, I haven't been playing it. But World Rugby have decided to put together a special edition for me, a Wordle Six Nations special. Right, let's start with England then. So, I've never seen this game, so what do I do now? So these are surnames then, are they? Ito J. I T O J E. Ito J. G E N G Genge. G E N Genge? Yes! Correct! Ireland next. Oh, it's not double R and a Gara, is it? Or Gara? I'm gonna go for Keith Earls. Yes! Well, well, Keith Earls. Right, then Wales next then. I hope it's not a Jones, because there'll be about 100 Joneses I could guess from. No. Oh. This has got to be too obvious. But I did the chase, and when I was on the chase, I didn't do very well, and the reason was the answers were so obvious I thought it was going to catch me out. So I'm going to go for Owens. Ken Owens.
You had O in the right place.
Oh, flipping heck, I messed up there now, didn't I? You remember the laws of the game? Oh, hang on now, it can't be Jones, surely. I can't believe this, it's Jones. Is it Jones? Right, Scotland. Price, Ali Price. Nothing. Flipping heck. Scored in his debut, what's his name now? White. Scrum half, scored. Came on for Ali Price when he was in the HIA. I worked. Gabby Logan. Kenny Logan. Logan. Well, I didn't do as bad as I thought I would. I did pretty well actually, with a little bit of help, a couple of clues along the way. How do you think you went? Let me know in the comments below. Well, that's it for this week. Program 1, Series 3 done, but Whistle Watch will be back next week. Doesn't time fly when you're enjoying yourself? Don't forget to get your question and comments in, and don't forget to subscribe and like as well. Now, off you go. Come on.